Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 12:29. Our next case is Mr. Charles Burns. Mr. Burns, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Charles Oliver Burns, 102959.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. I'd like to explain our process to you. I'm going to read some information into the record, and the board is going to conduct a parole interview with you. And at the appropriate time, we will allow those persons who've indicated they wish to have input to speak. Currently, speaking on your behalf today is a friend, Mr. Terrence Wynn, and another friend, Mr. Larry Thompson. Your sister, Sandra Thomas, is there with you, but she's just there for support and won't be speaking. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir. I do.
This is the matter of Charles O. Burns, DOC number 102959. Mr. Burns' date of birth is March the 26th of 1962. He's classified as a sixth felony offender. He has a parole eligibility date of September the 1st of 2023, an adjusted good time date of August the 2nd of 2061, and a full term date of May the 1st of 2070. He is currently serving a 62-year sentence on the charge of 2 counts of attempted simple burglary and simple burglary after having been adjudicated a habitual offender. His habitual offender sentence was on March the 2nd of 2022. Mr. Burns, does all of that sound accurate to you?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Burns, your case has been assigned to Ms. Bonnie Jackson. She will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions she might have?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Burns. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you, Mr. Burns?
Just turned 61.
And how much time have you actually served on this charge?
16 years.
I'm showing 14, but you say 16?
Oh, yeah, it's a total of 16.
You are classified as a sixth felony offender. You have priors for armed robbery, felony theft, forgery, simple burglary, and simple robbery. That sound about right?
I've never had a simple robbery.
Okay. Was it attempted simple robbery? Because I did see that on the rap sheet.
No, ma'am.
The last crime you committed, Mr. Burns, you were in your 40s.
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Why are you still committing burglaries in your 40s?
Well, at the time, I had a substance abuse problem, and I was on drugs.
What kind of drugs were you using?
I was using cocaine.
When did you start using cocaine?
In the early 2000s, probably around 2000.
And how serious was your drug problem?
It was serious enough to get me to commit burglaries and in essence incarcerated. So I would say that was serious, but I had a serious drug problem.
How often were you using?
At least every other day at the most, every 3 days maybe.
Were you able to keep a job during that period?
Yes, I was. I was able to stay employed.
What kind of work did you?
I'm a welder by trade, welder.
So you were a welder when you came into the prison?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I was.
Now, as I was looking over your prison record, you've only had one write-up, and that was in 2019. That was a Rule 3, which is disobedient, and you got a reprimand for that. What was that about?
Well, I didn't get on the evening count. During count time, I wasn't included. And when there was, and I just didn't get on the count, I thought the officer had included me. I was working at Reentry Chicken Shack down there, and she came through to count, and I thought she recognized me. She didn't, and so that's how that came about.
All right, and I looked at your programs. You've done Cage and Rage, Living in Balance, Thinking for Change, Free Release. You're also a member or have been a member of the Lifers Club and Reentry. You've done the 12-step program and Malachi Dance. Your institutional record is good. One of your supervisors said that you had a great work ethic. You also have letters of commendation from Prison Enterprises, work supervisor, and from the Reentry Club, and you are a Class C trustee. Is there anything else you would like to add to what I've just detailed about you that you think would be important for us to know?
Well, as you stated, I have taken the steps to participate in the substance abuse programs, AA, sober group. They recently just started a narcotics anonymous program. And so I've tried to strive to do the best that I could while I was incarcerated and take the opportunity to participate in all the programs and to combat my substance abuse. I knew it was a problem at the time. And so I really wanted to focus on getting myself in position so that in the event I was released, I could be a plus to my community as opposed to a negative.
What do you think it'll take for you to maintain your sobriety?
Well, my plan is to, if released, to I have a list of meetings that will be held in my area. I have the directory, the members of the directory, and what I'm trying to get is that I am and I will be willing to attend all meetings, you know, in my area and just try to keep my sobriety. I have 16 years in sobriety, and I really want to maintain that. I have children now. I have grandchildren, and I want to be there for them. I'm a cancer survivor, so I thank God for that. And I just feel that that God kept me here for a reason.
What's your transition plan? Where will you live? Where would you work?
Well, Proficient Refinishing has agreed to give me a job. I will be living with my sister. And so I have somewhere to stay and I have employment lined up. I don't know if you received the documentation from that business owner or not, but I do have a copy of it.
I did receive it. And what kind of business is that?
That is a refinishing business where they do refinishing work. And that's
Finishing what?
you know, appliances, countertops, bathtubs, things of that nature.
What about your wealth trade?
Well, I mean, that would be the job that I have lined up. But in the event that I want some, say, extra work or something, I will be willing to work as a welder. And I also have experience in powder coating.
You saw that.
Yes, ma'am.
Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Burns?
So Mr. Burns is one of our model offenders. He has taken a plethora of classes. He works in our metal fab plant right now, which we do license plates and stuff for the whole state of Louisiana. The only other thing I can say that he has a high Tiger score.
Yeah, I saw that. It was very confusing to
That's
me.
very good, yes.
Very confusing to me. All right. Well, thank you, Fernando. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from your supporters, Mr. Terrence Wynn.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
We're doing well, Mr. Wynn. How are you? Please introduce
great.
yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know.
All right, I'm Terrence Wynn, Executive Director of PIPES. PIPES is an organization that was started when I left prison. And this organization that's geared at helping people like Mr. Barnes come home and reacclimate themselves back into society. We also do job placement if possible. what I can say about Mr. Barnes is he's my auntie's best friend. And so, he's been a part of my life. And I can say that he taught me, I had an addiction problem when I was in prison. And my addiction was different than substance abuse. It was more towards cell phones. So I was one of the guys that often got caught up with phones. But talking to Mr. Burns, often, he made time because he knew me since I was a kid. He made time to talk to me about, man, if you want to go home, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you got to overcome what you're going through. That's only if you want to go home and do the right thing. So I took his advice. And his advice has led me to speak before the United Nations once, and I'm finna speak before the United Nations again this month. And, it's just, he's a guy that, I feel like you guys didn't make a mistake with me. Had I not had the board that I had and believed in me, I would have never been able to come home and accomplish what I've accomplished thus far, with a lot more to accomplish. But Mr. Barnes is a person that took a lead in my life when I was a kid. I took the wrong road. When I came to prison, when I was about to leave prison, he took a lead in my life, and it helped me to come from prison because, like I said, I had an addiction problem. I needed a cell phone. And by him overcoming his addictions, he gave me steps to overcome mine so that I could walk home. So my organization is got open arms for him to come back into our city, put him in a role that he can help kids that's on the wrong path, and that he can help adults that's using drugs, because we have a drug program, that's a part of our program. And so we have a spot for him. That's, if y'all feel it that he should come home, we have a spot for him, and I know he'll be real, real good at helping people within our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Mr. Larry Thompson?
That would be me.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, why don't you tell us we can hear you from there.
You stay right there and talk.
All right. My name is Larry Thompson. I'm also the member of PIPES that Terrence Wynn is our president. And all I can say about Charles is a good person, because before I left here in 2018, I was serving a mandatory life sentence, and it was Charles' advice that kept me on that straight path, get involved in the program. He was my mentor. And I released in 2020 for 2018, and I released 2018, and I work at the Hilton Hotel, applying the knowledge that I received from Charles. Once again, me and Charles worked at 915 warehouse together, and he really wanted to slow me down, put me on the right path. I've been out 5 years, and I thank Charles for everything that he did. And if you need help, then I'm there to help and support him. If you need me, then I'm there. You need transportation, I have that. You need a job, I can get him one at the Hilton where I am maintenance engineering there. And in conclusion, I want to say, Charles is a good person. Hopefully, the honorable board will grant him the role this day. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Burns, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
Yes, sir. I have a closing statement, if I may read it, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. First and foremost, I would like to thank this board for allowing me this opportunity to speak. Also, to my victim, the owner of the Valero convenience store that I burglarized. And I'm truly regretful for victimizing you and burglarizing your store. There's not a day that goes by without me feeling shame and remorse for offending you. When I was arrested for burglarizing your store, I was pretty much at the end of myself. I was tired of my criminal behavior, so I embraced Jesus as my savior from my sins. And I made a promise to myself, my family, my friends, and my community that during my incarceration, I was going to do everything I could to become a better person through faith, education, substance abuse treatment, and life skills programming. And that is pretty much what I have done with my time in prison. Also to my community, family, law enforcement, and the judicial system, I apologize for the ripple effect that my past criminal and addictive behavior had on you all. For my past and negative behaviors, I will always be regretful and remorseful. Finally, for all the above reasons and many more, it is my prayer that this board will allow me the opportunity to return to society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burns. We appreciate your comments. Panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Jackson?
All right, Mr. Burns, you had a very good interview today. I was very impressed with your words. You've done well during your incarceration. And so my vote, because of programming you've had, excellent disciplinary record, positive comments from prison officials and staff, my vote would be to grant with the condition that you attend at least 3 AA meetings per week. And abide by a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. program.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Roche?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Burns, based on positive remarks by Warren Ambo, good programs, a great transition plan, and excellent work evaluation from prison enterprises, my vote is the same under the same conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Burns, you have 2 votes to grant your parole with certain conditions. I agree with my colleagues. My vote likewise is to grant your parole. You will have 3 AA meetings per week. You must abide by a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. And I would hope that you do get with your friends in the PIPES program. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
I also really enjoyed that interview. It was very refreshing. Yeah, that's kind of like what a good interview can look like. I do have to say it's still absolutely maddening that he received such a long sentence, 62 years. They gave him a 62-year sentence, and they give cockroaches 5 years. They give, murderers 25 years and a 62-year sentence. And here, thank you, Richard, for sharing it. I'll share with you what it is that they got him on. And like comparatively to, and the scale of how bad things are, this is just not bad. Like it's actually would be hilarious in a comical way. I'm saying that just from the sense of like a cartoon. He basically vandalized the same gas station 3 times over the course of like 1 hour. And we'll go over it, but it was like he robbed it, and then the owner came, boarded it up, and then when the owner left, he robbed it again, and then the owner came back, and it was like, but then they threw the book at him, and it's like, come on, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. This is obviously a man who had a drug problem, and to lock him away and throw away the key, which is what the judge did, it's maddening to me. This is not a dangerous felon. This isn't a purse snatcher that then beat up the woman who tried to defend her. So this isn't someone who's going into homes with a weapon. It's just, like he needed help, right? But the idea that he would have gotten a sentence so dramatic, versus like trying to, anyways. We know the system's broken. The reason is that he got under the habitual offender, but where I'm not certain is that it's possible these 3 separate thefts over the course of like 1 hour, I think compounded to the habitual offender status, which is what the judge gave him, versus him having like a long career. But I'm not 100% clear on that. But here, let's go through the backgrounds of the facts. Just after midnight, September 7, 2007, the manager of Valero convenience store on Jula Avenue in Shreveport was notified that the store had been vandalized. Let me just make sure you can see this clearly. Let's see. I wonder if that's... I zoom in a little bit. Okay, this is probably better. Okay, that had been burglarized. She went to the store and saw that the window had been broken and the tray of cigarettes had been taken. She covered the window with plywood and left. Video surveillance tape showed a red maroon Ford Escort drive up to the store and glass was heard shattering. A black male with a dark cloth or t-shirt tied over his face was seen entering the store, removing a tray of cigarettes from behind the counter and leaving with the tray. So, okay. This is just after midnight, so let's call it midnight. Then at 4:10 a.m., the same date, the manager of Valero station on West 70th Street received a call of the incident at her store. She found that an outer pane and glass was broken, but an inner bulletproof glass remained intact. No entry had been made. Surveillance showed a red-maroon Ford Escort, a man wearing the same cloth, a burglary of the Jula location. So is this the same? I think it's the same location, the Jula location. About 10 minutes later, the manager of the Jula Avenue store was alerted to yet another burglary. Surveillance video of this third incident again showed a maroon red Ford Escape drive up, a man matching the same description enter the store and grab another tray of cigarettes. And I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but you know, it's like you're doing something wrong if your store can get robbed 3 times in a night for those cigarettes, and he just keeps coming back for more. It's like I said, it's almost comical because anyways, but those were his 3 crimes that then got him 62 years, and it just blows my mind. It really does, because imagine if he would have just spent the rest of his life locked up. And now I'm not saying that you should just, like what they're doing today, just letting people out, and you know, we need a world of law and order. But going to the other extreme of locking away a man who's for that long a period of time, while not doing the same for people who are a true threat to our children, it's madness. I don't think there's any short of it being complete madness that judges supposed to be the smartest people of our society could go to sleep at night giving someone who hurts a child 5 years and then give this man 62. It's just maddening, absolutely insane. That's just my opinion. Then they basically, okay, here's what adds to the, again, I think it's kind of like comedy. And also it just shows that this is not like a dangerous man, is that, so the Shreveport police were on a lookout for the red maroon Ford Escort. A deputy city marshal spotted this car 4 hours later. He tried to stop the car with his lights and sirens, but a low-speed chase ensued. This is not a high-speed chase, a low-speed chase ensued that ended at his mother's home. After stealing cigarettes 3 times because the store is, you know, whatever, so easy to steal from, really, that he does a slow speed chase to go to his mom's house. He refused orders to get out of the car, and when the deputy approached the driver's side of the car, petitioner put his hands on the deputy's gun. Oh, I didn't read that part. Well, you think that that's true or made up? I know it's not fair for me to say that, right? But this day and age, from what it's hard to really know. Someone who does a slow speed chase to his mom's house is really reaching for the deputy's gun. But who knows? Petitioner was sprayed with mace, but he continued to struggle as the officer tried to handcuff him. One deputy struck the petitioner 3 or 4 times between the shoulder blades and eventually gained control. At the time of the arrest, petitioner was wearing clothes that appeared to be the same as those worn by the burglar in the surveillance recording. And just so you should all know, I like the cops. My sister is a cop. So my brother is a major in the Army. I am all blue. I'm just saying that, well, I should say that we have to have our eyes open. And I do question. It's very easy for a police officer to say something like that. And I think we'd be doing an injustice to everyone if we just assume that everything that was said was true. Okay, so that's my perspective and my background on that. Video of the chase shows the petitioner maneuver around the deputy's car that had parked in front of him at red light. It also shows the petitioner throw an object out the window. An officer recovered the item and it was identified as the cloth that he had over his face. Investigators conducted recorded interviews. Basically, I think he was trying to say, hey, how do you know it was really me? Where I went the first time and came back, he admits being at the store and was positive he did not touch anything the first time. He did not remember touching anything. In a return visit, search of the escort revealed pieces of broken glass. So they only found the glass, but they didn't find anything else. But that's not necessarily proof. He could have been. I mean, it's kind of weird. Why do you go there, grab one pack or one carton, and not just take everything, but to question how the mind of a drug-rattled brain is not. People do crazy things, and sometimes you just grab it so you can get your small little baggie, and then that hits over, and then you go back for more. But glad he's out. I think he's going to stay out. And it was great to hear those other men talk so highly of him and how well they're doing with their freedom. And again, this whole habitual, what I would like to find out is, maybe they mentioned it at the beginning of the interview and I missed it. I'm not taking notes, which is a problem because I'm multitasking. So I'm listening on my Bluetooth, doing things around the house. I've been gone for so long, I have to do things. And then I come and sit down to talk. And so I missed it if they spoke about how long his career, but how many offenses he's had before this one. But if they hit him on these three separate offenses and that made him an habitual offender to get the 62 years, that's even more barbaric. Really is. It's it's crazy how we see our system. It swings. It's a pendulum that swings from one extreme to another. We have, I think it was passed in the 90s, this 3 strikes are out habitual offender thing. Basically, you do 3 felonies and they just throw away the key in a 10-year period. And now we see where it's another extreme. You see in like New York and Chicago and some other states where people can literally kill someone and get out on bail and then kill again. And you're seeing it all the time. Or commit 10 thefts a day and nothing happens. You basically get a ticket to appear. And that extreme doesn't work either. And it's like we just need to find a middle ground. I view it's like the airports after 9/11. We had airports which anyone can do anything in basically before 9/11. And then after 9/11, we go to such an extreme that we're checking our grandmother in a wheelchair, we're making her take her shoes off. And it's just like, come on. We don't need to be so incompetent as a nation. We can use some common sense. But that will never happen. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go.